We're going to get situated here in a moment. Just give me a moment, guys. I wonder if we need an extra light in there. I see you, Earl Yancey. As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing will grow older every day. Just as all is born is new, you know what I say is true. I'll be loving you always. Guys, I've had to resort to sing because Mark Zuckerberg says when I play copyrighted music, he rains on me. Zuckerberg turns around and says, Simon, you can't play copyrighted music. So I have to sing so that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't shut me down. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you're well. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend and you're ready for a brand new week. Guys, thank you wherever you're watching me from, whether you're from the Maldives, Memphis, Tennessee, Texas, New York City, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Plaquemine, St. Charles, Gainesville, Kwakasomo, Kuchinsadi, Kutwapia Kundola, Western Province, Mongo. Wherever you're watching me from all around the world, you are welcome. Tell me now if you can hear me in the comments below. Tell me in the comments if you can hear me loud and clear. I won't be long. I will not be long. And I'm thankful for this very clear, it appears to be a clear connection. It does. Loud and clear. Jennifer Mulenga, you precious people, precious people. Zero, it can't work. You ain't lying. I tell you what, he's talking about the heading that I've put up there. Thank you so much. Deborah, good morning to you. Sunga. Hearing you loud and clear. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Maybe you have a good voice. Maybe. That's a big maybe. I don't know. Guys, very quickly, I just wanted to bring something to you that I just came across this, and you know me, sitting in my office. This is one of the great things about working in a space that you use as a studio as well. The great thing is when I come across something that I think is interesting to me, I have the privilege of sitting here, turning on my camera, my lights, boom, as long as I got a good internet connection, I will give you my opinion. I just read a few moments ago, this was on the front page of the Diggers. Many of you have seen this. Somebody from the PF, I think it was by Davis Mwila, I could be wrong, not Davis Mwila, by Davis Chama, the former Minister of Defense. I think he's being quoted as saying, the PF have repented. These are his words. They have repented and they're asking the Zambian people to give them one more chance, or to quote, another chance. Now, here's my response to that ridiculous proposal, because that's what it is. It is the most outlandish, it is the most asinine, it is the most putrid suggestion I have ever heard in my entire life. How in the world are the PF with 5 senses sit in front of a camera and say the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard? Asking the Zambian people to give you another chance. Now here's my struggle with that. Here's my question. Another chance to do what? Another chance to do what? Another chance to plunder? another chance to rape this economy, another chance to oppress the people of Zambia, another chance to pillage every project that you see that the PF embarked upon, including those bridges that you guys love to talk about. We thank God for the bridges, and we thank God the Lungu administration did what they did. But the truth is, underneath that, they were skimming off the top. For every big project that you saw the PF embark upon, if a project costs $3 million, now I'm estimating, I'm not giving you actual figures, I'm trying to make a point. My point is, whatever project the PF embarked upon, it was all about lining their pockets. It wasn't about serving the Zambian people. It had nothing to do with the noble cause of elevating the living standards of the Zambian people. No, it was about pillaging. It was about self-aggrandizement. It was about self-enrichment. It was about raping the economy. That's what it was about. So when you say to the Zambian people, give us another chance, what you're saying is, you want us to give you another chance to plunder and to rape this economy. Another chance to do what? Another chance to brutalize? To brutalize innocent young men and women simply because they belong to a different political party? Another chance to allow, in my language, we call them iminyangunyangu, those big black ants. You heard them before you saw them. When I was a kid, we used to call them iminyangunyangu, and they were very difficult to kill. I mean, iminyangunyangu, you could step on one, but because of their elasticity, because of their resilient armor, you could step on a black ant. They weren't tiny ants. They were huge, big black ants. They had a military type persona about them. They had a very brutal attack mode way about them. And you heard them before you saw them. And this was the sound that they would make. When you heard iminyangunyangu, you knew. Fiaisa. You mean to tell me that the Zambian people will one day wake up and say, give iminyangunyangu another chance to brutalize the Zambian people? No. We're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Not on our watch. The Zambian people woke up on August the 12th, 2021, and they spoke in unison. They stood up on the platform of democracy. They said, this is not the trajectory we want to be on. They said, we want a different way. They said, we want a different life. We no longer want to be oppressed. We no longer want to be brutalized. We no longer want to live in fear. How dare you, PF, suggest that we could give you another chance? You must be out your cotton picking mind. I hate to say this to you, but it's the truth. I'm going to throw it up here. And the moment you read it, you as the PF, and it doesn't matter who you are right now. You could be by Given Lubinda. You could be by Davis Chama. You could be by Daniel Kalembe. You could be by former President Lungu himself. You could be any one of these guys. The moment I throw this up and you read it, you need to allow it to reside in your spirit. You need to accept this. You need to get to a place where you embrace this truth that I'm about to share with you. And it's this. The Zambian people have moved on. That's the truth. We have. We've moved on to bigger and better things. You know, for those of you that have been in abusive relationships, you know what I'm talking about. Let's say you're a young lady and for years you endured the oppressive relationship of a physically abusive man. You finally leave him. And then somehow down the road, you meet someone that attempts to treat you with some semblance of decency. He calls you sweetheart. He loves you. He wants to see you do better. He wants to elevate the way you live. And then all of a sudden, that PF guy comes back and says, give me another chance. You look at them and you say, I've moved on. The Zambian people have moved on. Embrace that. The sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you. I love this one. Only God gives a second chance, not us, not the Zambian people, boy. Tell it to God. Tell it to Jesus. Throw yourself at the foot of the cross. Ask God to forgive you. Okay? The electorate have bigger fish to fry. Okay? Alex says, indeed, we've moved on. We can't go to PF again. Or as we say in the street, waller. We say waller. The English word is waller. In Bemba, we say wala. Okay? I love this. I love this. Mwep says, freedom of expression. Yaba pela courage. You ain't lying, boy. During the PF, I couldn't say this. Pasimoson, pardon. My goodness. There's. Let me tell you a quick story. Let me just check my connection before I tell you this story, and I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this story. And I love telling this story because it was very indicative of where we were as a people. Very indicative. Let me tell you the story. This was this might have been maybe 3-4 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. My uncle, Dr. Neves Mumba, he was in jail. He was in prison. What's the name of the prison there in Kabwe? Tell me in the comments below so that I throw it up. Tell me the name of the prison in Kabwe. There's a big prison there. What's the name of that prison? Tell me the name and I'll throw it up here so that I can tell you this story more accurately. Okay, so that you guys get a sense of where I'm coming from. And this is a true story. I'm not making this up. Is that Mukobeko? Mukobeko, huh? That's Mukobeko. Then there's Chimbokaila is the one here. Yes, that's right, Mukobeko. My uncle Neves, as many of you know, Dr. Neves Mumba is my uncle. Dr. Neves Mumba is my mother's brother, blood brother. Same mother, same father, not cousins or anything like that. Same mother, same father. And I love Dr. Neves Mumba. I call him Uncle Nev. Love him so much. Well, he was in prison. You know, they sent him to prison there. And so I had gone there to take him some food. And while we were waiting, this was about 4 years ago. You know, President Hakainde Hichilema was not the president of the country at that time. He was an opposition leader within the UPND. He was the president of the party. He wasn't president of the country. This was 4 years ago. It might have been 5. Anyway, so we're standing by the gate, and HH comes driving in with his people, you know, and we're standing outside. We're talking, you know, and he likes to talk about football, from what I could gather, you know, and we were having it wasn't just him and I. It was HH with several of his people, and so I went over to him. I greeted him. I said, "Hello, sir. How are you?" And he was very cordial. He said, "Hi, Mwewa. How are you?" I said, "I'm fine." And so I said to him, I said, "Sir, do you mind if I take a picture with you?" He said, "Sure, let's do it." You know, so I'm standing there. I take a picture with him. And now remember, this was when the PF was in power. And so when I came back to my office, I looked at the photograph and I struggled. I said, should I post this or not? Because at the time, we were living in a time when any association with the UPND, the PF regarded you as an enemy, not a political opponent, not a political ideologist. When the PF saw you associating with anyone or anything to do with the color red or anyone from the UPND, the PF regarded you as a person of interest and they regarded you as an enemy. So I was thinking, you know what? What's the harm in posting this? I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just me and HH talking, and posing for a picture. I posted it on this Facebook page. The moment I posted it, I got a phone call from, his name was Muke. He's the guy, he was the PF guy in charge of this area. He calls me up, very angry. You want what? I said, yeah. You went, get your picture or poster. He says, why have you posted this photograph? Because, they used to watch everything I did. They were constantly, watching everything I posted, And being in the position that I'm in, Simoson is directly opposite City Market. And City Market is a very politically charged area. Okay, very, very politically charged. So I have to be very careful with what I say and how I say it. In those days, I couldn't just say anything. So here it is. Muke calls me up very angry. He says, and that's exactly how he said it. So I said, look, it's just a photo. He says, no, it's office. He hangs up the phone. Within 10 minutes, he comes up to my office with like 30 guys. Very, very angry. He says to me, it's just a picture of postage. Well, post a picture. You want to HH, which means you I said, look, Muke, it's just a photograph. He said, photograph quiz. Do you know that I had to remove that photograph? I had to remove it. That's a true story. I still have the photograph. I'll post it later on today if you want me to. I will. I still have that photograph. I had to remove it. Not only that, I got calls from the secretariat. Muke, after he left, and I had to remove it in front of him. I had to delete the picture in front of him. A few minutes after Muke left, someone from the secretariat called me. Mr. Mwewa, we have seen on your Facebook page, you have posted a picture of you and the HH. Yeah? So tell us, what is going on there before we start concluding? I said, sir, it's just a photograph. I've just come from the prison. I was there with my uncle. HH comes along. I asked him for a photograph. I said, could I take a picture with you? He said, yes. We took the photograph. Boom. I posted it. What's the problem? No, Mwewa. Those are, it means your allegiance is to HH. If your allegiance is to him, tell us so that if we should have don't ride the fence, Mwewa. Just express yourself to us. If you are with that chap, tell us so that if we should have I said, sir, it's just a photograph. And besides, I've already taken it down. Oh, wachosa, nim from yamkwai. They can checking if it's all done. Uti, and then I could hear the guy in the back. Uti ati achosa you. Achosa picture, I go HH. He comes back. Okay, tuama na wife me. Number one, careful. We don't post fiabushiro. Yeah? Careful, Mwewa. And he hung up. So my question is that what you want us to go back to? Imoa PF, you want us to go back to that? You go to City Market today. There are people that are wearing Edgar Lungu's shirts. Nobody beats them. Nobody bothers them. There are people that are wearing HH's shirts. Nobody bothers them. Why? Because a leader stood up and said, you can be affiliated with whomever you want. Nobody's going to bother you. There are women now in the market who take PF chitenges. They cover their food with PF chitenges. During PF, You think that you could take HH's chitenge and cover your food? Musiti market. Bwana. Nanshure fokufua. Bale uma kuma. Nabana mayo kumo. So don't sit there and tell me that you want us to bring you back over our dead bodies. Hell to the no. All right. Someone was asking me the other day, well, what is that hand for? Guys, it's just a little prop. You know, on Facebook, you have to be very careful. Somebody said, well, what is that hand for? It's just a little prop. I bought it from a shop in South Africa. I forget the name of the shop. I think it's called Typo. And I like it. All right. Well, hey, guys, I got to go. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.